Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Looking at the NBA on Tuesday here. Got 7 games to choose from. A few teams on the second night of a back-to-back as well. So we got a bit of injury news that we still have to wait on. I've got a few bets that I want to get over to you guys that are down on the card already. Also a few leans as well in there. Plus, I got to run back the giveaway because nobody got it right on Sunday. I saw a couple of you trying to cheat and say Jaren Jackson Jr. after the day of games was over. So nobody won because nobody said Jaren Jackson Jr. as the leading scorer in time on Sunday. Let's run it back. Go ahead and jump in the comments. Let me know who's going to be the leading scorer of the night on Tuesday night here in the NBA. Across the league, the leading scorer of the whole night. If you get that right, we'll throw you in the raffle. Going to do 2 giveaways in this one. One, the first winner that we select, $100. Second winner that we select, opportunity to get into the VIP for free as well, for a free month into the VIP. So I'm going to run through how we did here on Monday night and then get into everything we've got for Tuesday. So if that sounds good, give this video a like. Let's jump right into it. Not a great night on Monday. Couple teams, though, that I have a big problem with, and we'll talk about that right now. So minus 2.2 units, 56.5 units up on the season. Still feeling really good about the way that we're moving forward in the NBA. Really good on Miles Bridges. Felt really confident in that to put 1.3 units down to win a full unit back. Collier soared past his PA there with a double-double on the points and assists. SGA went under 35.5 points. I told y'all it would be a sweat, who were those of you who followed in the VIP Discord, and it was. He ended with 34, but he didn't have to play the fourth quarter, as we knew, because there was no way that OKC wasn't winning that game by 20-plus points. Looking at the losses here, Zion Williamson just going to take the L on that one. Didn't bring it against the Nuggets. Might need to lay off the Zion props for a minute. Sometimes he goes off in his limited time on the floor. Sometimes he doesn't. But we're not getting the amount of minutes to make up for nights that he doesn't have great shooting nights or that he's locked up for a few possessions in a row. You just don't get the time for him to overcome that because he's not playing more than 28 minutes a night. So we'll have to revamp that sort of strategy around Zion. Thought he would be good for a point a minute. Couldn't even do it against a team that was terrible, limiting points in the paint in the Nuggets. So moving away from him, Halliburton had 6 assists. He had 19 potential assists. Couldn't get 3 more out of the other potential assists. The 13 potential assists he had that didn't turn into a single dime. 3 of those out of 13 potentials, and we're there. And what I always say when we're talking about potential assists and assists, you want there to be about a 55% hit rate that you expect on the potential assists turning into real assists. That was not the case last night, as 6 of his 19 potentials turned into 1. Still happy with that look against Utah. Would go right back to it. Same with Jalen Green. I projected him for 22 shots in about 36 minutes or 38 minutes. He played 35, still took 22 shots, went 9 for 22 from the field. That's what we do. We chase volume. We try to bet on the guys that we know are going to be out on the floor and the ones taking the shots. That was the case. Just missed it. So we move on and take that L. Josh Hart double-double was cruel. We took that because right as we got the news that Josh Hart would be in and that Miles McBride would be starting alongside Hart and to make up for OG Anunoby being out. Well, then after they announced that, 15 minutes later, they announced, just kidding, Miles McBride's not starting. Precious Achiuwa is starting. Another center is playing alongside Hart and Cat. So that screwed up the rebounds there, as Precious Achiuwa got way more minutes than we expected in that Knicks win against the Rockets. So we move on from that one, but didn't mind it at all. Christian Brown, same thing, just didn't hit his shots last night in that win for Denver. Would go back to it. There's no Russ Westbrook. Aaron Gordon's still limited, so would still be going back to Christian Brown, and we will be. But I do want to give you guys the opportunity to get into the VIP. So go ahead and comment with who you think is going to be the leading scorer tonight, and I will get 2 prizes out. One's the $100. The other is going to be the free month in the VIP. So we'll get out a couple winners here after tonight's video. If you jump in those comments and let me know. And I do want to make clear real quick, we've got expert picks and analysis in the VIP section of the Discord, but we also have access to the VIP chat with the guest cappers who are bringing looks, helping me out every single day. So much appreciated to all the homies who are doing that. And also one-on-one sports betting consultations. Now, those are going to start next week, but I am giving people the opportunity to meet with me one-on-one. There's a few different packages that offer that opportunity. A couple of the packages just get 1 sports betting consultation, help you set you on the right track with some good habits, trim some of the bad ones, and like I said, set you forth to help you then go prosper. And the other one is if you do select the VIP package specifically, you do get 2 monthly, twice a month, one-on-one sports betting consultations to help you get better at this stuff and start to get those good habits going, not have to reach around in the wallet and keep adding money to the account, but start to make that money with things like bankroll management and some solid betting tips. So hope to see you guys in there. But for now, let's get into what we have for Tuesday. As we jump jump into Tuesday's slate. Quick reminder, we are using propsmadness.com. So if you have any questions about this, definitely jump in the comments and let me know. But this is the best way, most efficient way to save you some time and help you get all the information in one spot that you need to make the best bets that you have available to you. Amazing tools like the play type analysis that you can see at the bottom here, where you can see how a player plays, how they score, how defenses limit that. You've got shot charts. You've got so much more than any of the other products you're going to use to look at here and find your NBA best bets. So highly recommend, if you want to jump in, use code LYB. You'll get 25% off your first month. Also get a free trial for a week if you want to try this out before you spend on it. Highly recommend checking it out. Like I said, best tool around for the NBA to save you that time, find you those best bets. First look I've got here is going to be Kelly O. And we're going back to him because I feel safe with this bet, regardless of the outcome of whether or not Joel Embiid plays or not. He's currently questionable, so we're not sure if he's going to be out there. But we know Paul George is not going to be out there. And that's a big part of what this bet is predicated on. You look at these last 10 games, I'm going with the points and rebounds combined to be super clear, 22.5 PR, but that might go down, right? I haven't put this down on my card yet because I want to see if Joel Embiid is actually going to play or not. And if Joel Embiid is out there, this is going to drop probably to about 21.5 PR at the most. And we should feel good about going over on those numbers for sure. So we're going to wait, but this is going to be a bet in part because Paul George is out. And what we see when Joel Embiid is on the floor, and let's say Paul George and Tyrese Maxey are playing alongside him, right? We're talking about Paul George looking at about 17 points or rebounds and assists per game. And that's about 10, 11 rebounds per 36 minutes for Paul George when he's playing with Embiid and Maxey. Well, Kelly O is just going to step right into that play, that sort of position, right, for Paul George. He's going to take his spot on the floor. He's going to be the athletic rebounding wing that comes in and gets boards when Joel Embiid is out there. Because when JoJo's out there, guys like Kelly Oubre and Paul George are actually more open for rebounds. And then we're also talking about other guys on the other team being more open for rebounds. It becomes Joel Embiid and the other center, who in this case, right, is going to be Daniel Gafford, going at each other. And then it's going to be the athletic wings alongside those guys like PJ Washington, if he was playing, but he's out, and Kelly Oubre, who are big wings, who are also good at getting into the paint and driving to the rim and rebounding. And that's what I believe we're going to see here from Kelly O. We can look at these games and see, this is all a really good hit rate without Joel Embiid in the last 10 games. And if you look at him with Joel Embiid, then it's not going to look as good on the PR. Not a very good hit rate, only at about 16.7. Problem is Paul George played in all these games as well, and we don't have any examples of no Paul George playing. No Paul George and Joel Embiid. There's no examples of that this season because Philly's been so unhealthy. So we don't really have much use case here. I'm just going with what I know Paul George to do when he plays with Embiid. And once again, Embiid might not play. And then 22.5 PR is a steal considering what he's done in these last 10 games without Joel. So Kelly Oubre is a bet that I'm going to feel safe betting with or without Joel. But I will wait to see if we can get him listed in, because if he's in, then I'm definitely hitting the over on this and waiting for it to even drop a little. Moving to the Cavs and the Celtics here. Should be a good one in this game as everyone's healthy on both sides, really, other than Isaac Okoro and Dean Wade for the Cavs. Everybody in for the Celtics. And as my partner Nate put it, they're probably going to form like Voltron here in this one. And the head of that Voltron will be Kristaps Porzingis as they bring all their starters in. I'm going to take him on the first quarter points. I mean, let's just keep riding this wagon. That has been his first quarter points. If you want to take it at 5.5 for juiced all the way down, I mean, I'd put the 1.5 units on him to go over 5.5. I'm going to take it at 6.5. I'm going to get it at -115 on DK. Definitely make sure you're shopping this around. I think 6.5 for anything at -115 or better is still a play. But I would like to see if we can get any kind of better odds before I put this bet down. This is what I'm looking at, though, strongly. Like, obviously, this hit rate is insane. And if you look at him, basically, since he's come back from injury, right, which has been right there against OKC and the Rockets, those were his first 2 games back. In those games, first 2 games back, played 5 minutes in the first quarter. But what I'm looking at with a first quarter bet is what are the volume of minutes that a player is getting. And in these last 12 games, since he really got ramped back up into his full slate of minutes, he's looking at 8 minutes per game in the first quarter. I can work with that big time. And if you look at the field goal attempts, I'm looking at these little averages that are right down here. 5 field goal attempts in the first quarter as well in this time. Going 3 for 5 gets you to 6. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, free throw attempts are going to be there as well for him. And in his first quarter free throw attempts, he's averaging 1.3, making 1 a game. So you give him, right, like 5 shots. He only needs to go 3 for 5, and not including the fact that he hits a 3 very consistently in the first quarter. Then you give him 1 free throw, which he's about 100% from the free throw line in the first quarter. That's about 7 points, right? And that's what he's averaging on the season, 6.9 first quarter points. Nice. And then in the last 10, like I said, 9.4 as his averages on the shot attempts and the minutes have risen here in these last 10. And they feed the big man early. That's what they do. We know he's been their go-to in the first quarter. It's just something worth hitting consistently here until they raise this to a price that's too much. I definitely prefer 5.5, but even 6.5 is still going to be a 91% hit rate in these last 12 games for him. So feeling really good about KP's Q1 points here against Jarrett Allen and the Cavs. So can I interest anybody in a same game parlay with both the centers for these two teams in Boston and Cleveland, as Jarrett Allen has also been pretty much a wagon here in the first quarter. Now, he's had a few games here, right, in the last like 12 where he's only gotten 2 points, and I totally get that. But you cannot be taking him out too early in the first quarter. And if you look at these last few games here where he's gone over, back up to 8 minutes per game in the first quarter. The key here is going to be the field goal attempts once again, right, for Jarrett Allen. And he was taking about 3 per game in these last, let's just do on the whole season here for the man who's played, 44 games here. Has he played? Yeah, 49 games on the season. Over in 31 of 49. If we're looking at his field goal attempts on average, it's 2.4 field goal attempts per first quarter. Plus, if you look at the free throw attempts for him as well, looking at about 1 per game in the first quarter. So not as many field goal attempts, but with 2 field goal attempts, shooting about 85% in the first quarter, 2.5 for him to make 2 buckets or one of those free throws alongside 1 bucket. I'm going to feel good about that for the whole season, right? 63% hit rate. This is something you can just keep betting on consistently. And it was creeped up to over 4.5. Now that we're back down below 3, and that's good enough for at least a free throw attempt and 2 shot attempts. I like that volume that we get there. So I think this is going to be another good look here as the first quarter field goal, or points rather, for Jarrett Allen. Looking at Heat and Bulls, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to that page so you don't miss out on any of the action moving forward. If you're getting anything out of what we're doing here on the show, hopefully. I mean, we're up 57 units on the season. But looking at this game, I got one play that I like, and that's Kobe White in this game. So Zach LaVine's gone. I think you got to go points and assists for Kobe. 24.5. This might drop down. It's at minus 104 on FanDuel and a couple other spots, but I'd still like this bet at 24.5 if you want to take it for some pretty good odds. Obviously, without Zach LaVine on the season, 26 PA per game, over in 5 of 8. So at least a good starting point that we know a lot of stuff goes up for him when he plays with or without Zach LaVine. The thing to keep in mind for Kobe, too, aside from the matchup here with Miami, is when he's played without Zach LaVine on the season, things go up for the volume. The usage goes up to 29% on the season as opposed to 20% when he plays with Zach LaVine. He's averaging 21 points per game without Zach LaVine in the last 4 that he's played without him, and 5 assists in that time frame as well, looking at about a 25% assist percentage. And when he's playing with Lonzo out there as well, even better. Lonzo definitely sets him up, and he sets Lonzo up as 2 guys that play similarly on offense anyway. Kobe White a little bit more breaking you down off the dribble, and a little bit better of a playmaker, I would argue, in the half court anyway. And that's the key here, is that when Chicago is not able to get out into the transition, Kobe White will be their half court leading touches guy, right? He's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. Vooch is not a guy who has had much success at all against Bam Adebayo. In his last 6, he's averaging 105 offensive rating individually for Vooch. So he gets shut down in this one. And we know that really it's going to come down to Giddey, Vooch, and Kobe White, who are the guys that have the ball in their hands the most. Giddey's probably a good look, but I'm very happy to add 4.5 assists for Kobe White to his points prop at about 19.5 points by itself, right? I think adding the assists, we get a little bit of a value because you're getting 4.5 assists, which is a good number to go over, but it's juiced down to like minus 140 if you wanted to take the assists by themselves. So I'm adding the points and assists together for Kobe White, because also the other thing about the matchup that I did want to mention here, Miami's defense, good. It's gotten better for sure. But if you look at them in the last 7 games, 4th most assists per game to point guards, 3rd most points per game to shooting guards, right? So whatever you want to consider Kobe, I'm going to call him the point guard in this case, with the amount that he's going to have the ball in his hands, but they're giving up points and assists to guards is the key here. So whether he's shooting or passing to a shooting guard, right, it's going to be a good situation for Kobe White in this game against Miami, who I still don't trust at all, to be honest. So I love the way that he's played against Miami in the past. I love his potential assists, up at about 9.7 per game without Zach LaVine on the floor. So he should have the volume here to get over 24.5 points and assists. Just don't have an awful shooting night, Kobe, and we should be good to go. Let's head to LA as the battle between the Clips and the Lakers takes place here. I got to start with Zubac. I mean, who's playing center for the Lakers? I mean, Jackson Hayes. We're going to see some Christian Koloko, everybody's favorite backup center as well. Like, there's Rui Hachimura. I don't trust any of them. So we got to take Zoo. I'm going to take him on the points and rebounds, but this stuff's been dropping. So I'm going to let it drop before I play Zubac, who will be a play on the points and rebounds. I think we can get this at 25.5 for the PR. If you wanted to take the points right now, this has dropped down from 15.5 to 14.5. I'd be fine with that by itself. I mean, they continue to feed the big man no matter what. And the key here is going to be, I like the rebounds in addition, because I think he's going to get a ton of putbacks. I mean, if you look at the way that this Lakers team defends the rim, horrible, right? They are third worst at limiting putbacks, meaning offensive rebounds are available for guys like Zoo. I think he's going to have like 6 offensive rebounds, which is why I also like adding the boards to the points. Like, this feels like a 15-15 or 20-15 kind of game for Zubac, who loves dominating the Lakers, by the way. We should make clear, if you look at him head to head, because, by the way, in case you weren't aware, he was a Laker, and they decided that he wasn't good enough for them, and they were fine sending him to the same division. Like, they didn't even care that he was playing against their crosstown rivals. They didn't even send him out of LA. So Zoo to come in and take over again. Like, look at this season, we're talking about 21 points, 19 rebounds, right? Last season, played only a few minutes in this game here, had 20 rebound chances, and they lost by 5. But if you look at the next game where he had Harden available last season, first game, no Harden. Second game, yes, Harden. That's going to be huge for Zoo, who needs to be set up, obviously, on offense. 31 rebound chances and 19 boards in the second one, alongside 22 points on 13 shots. So this is going to be a big Zubac night for us, and we're going to be betting a good amount on him. Probably the over on the rebounds, maybe a little same game parlay of like 20-15, something to like get us some pretty good juice here off of Zoo. But at the very least, I'd be taking the over on the points and rebounds for him at 26.5 for sure. If you want to wait for 25.5, you might be able to get it. Either way, both are good numbers for me against a centerless Lakers squad. Last look for me, LeBron James. I mean, if you look at him without AD on the season, it's going to be some pretty good numbers here, right? Now, it's only been 4 games. He's gone over in 3 of 4 on the 26.5 points. If you wanted to take that, I would be waiting for this, because you can get some 25.5s as well. So I'm not in a rush to hit this just yet. I want to see how the market does pressure this and which way it moves it. I'm fine with LeBron James getting like 30 tonight, though. I don't think they're going to win, but I think he's going to go all out to help them try to win. I mean, he's got to at least put something up to show that he's still a Laker, that he's not interested in going to the Dubs, which he said publicly now. And he's going to need to bring it here for the Lakers in a game that I don't think they're going to win, but I do think that he's going to do his best to keep them close, especially on the points. And like I said, look at, 32.6 per game. The only under was against Washington, where he played 27 minutes, still scored 24 points because they won by 38. So he didn't have to play in the end of the third quarter moving forward. So I love him without AD. If you look at his numbers on the season, whenever he's played on court without AD on the court, he's looking at about 29.8 points per 36 minutes. And I don't know how they don't play him 36 minutes if they have any intention of winning tonight. He hasn't played less than 35 other than that blowout against the Wizards. So I think this is going to be a statement game from LeBron. I do like the points. I think the rebounds are also getting great value at 7.5. I know he hasn't done as much, but he is averaging 9.8 rebounds per 36 minutes without Anthony Davis on the court with him this season. So I think 36 minutes, we should be projecting him for about 28, 29 points, in addition to about 9 to 10 rebounds in this game. So I'm going to be betting some overs on both that for LeBron, points and rebounds. As individual props, you want them to put them together, fine, but I think you can hit them both as single bets and then win a little bit more money off of the fact that he's going to have a really good game with the points and the boards. Remember, go ahead and jump in the comments. Let me know who you think is going to be the leading scorer here on the night in the NBA on Tuesday night. If you get that right, I'll throw you in the raffle. We got 2 giveaways for the raffle. First winner is going to get $100. Second winner is going to get a free month in the VIP and be able to go ahead and get some of these great picks, analysis, and some sports betting consultations to help you guys get better at this sports betting thing and really understand it from the bottom up. So hope to see you guys here on the live 5:30 p.m. Until I do, happy betting.